Episode 2 of the new Pokemon anime has aired, and so let's go ahead and discuss it. Hey, this is Gatorex, and like I said, I went ahead and saw the second episode of the Pokemon anime, Pocket Monsters 2019. I suppose that's what we're calling it, as it doesn't have a suffix or anything before the name. But point is, this episode was pretty neat. Last episode, which you can check out the review for that if you haven't already seen it, was not bad. It was a flashback episode, kind of just showcasing Pikachu as a Pichu and sort of building up Go and Koharu a bit as the characters. Mostly Go. Like I mentioned, it's pretty much Go's episode. This one here, we get to see a lot more of Ash as he goes to Vermilion City, meets Professor Sakuragi. And yeah, the story picks up from there. There is a neat little interaction. He gets to meet Koharu's Yamper, who, of course, you know, in the Japanese anime makes a sound like Wampa. I think that's his name, something like that, Wampa. I don't know. It's funny. He shocks Ash. It's funny, and then Koharu comes out and sees him, and then, you know, funny things ensue. But point is, Professor Sakuragi is just giving a brief presentation about Pokemon, and then we get to see that a rare Pokemon is going to be showing up, and that rare Pokemon is Lugia, and it's basically a raid battle, right? A few trainers gather and are battling Lugia, and it's hype because, you know, there's a Lugia showing up just in the middle of the city, and we got to see some of this in the trailers beforehand. We saw that there was going to be a Lugia, and we got to see that Ash and Go would be interacting with it. Of course, Ash shows up there first and starts to battle the Lugia, while Go originally is hanging out at the top of a building waiting for the rare Pokemon to show up, Lugia, who turns out to be Lugia. He gets faked out with a Psyduck, and this boy's Psyduck, this Psyduck is amazing. This a rare Psyduck, obviously, but point is, Ash battles Lugia with Pikachu, and not much happens aside from the fact that Go eventually shows up. There's a mix-up after Lugia's doing all these sick tricks in the sky, and both Ash and Go end up riding Lugia. And the funny thing is, Lugia is totally okay with this. And at this point, you know, it had been some good hype build-up, and then now it's time for the whimsical stuff, which, you know, I liked. Lugia was totally okay. One interesting thing is, you know, Go is documenting the entire thing mostly, and one interesting thing that I never really thought about, but he kind of takes note of how Lugia feels, like, you know, his scale, or Lugia's back scales, or whatever, and that's not something I really thought about before. Like, Pokemon always just seem really smooth, whether it be in the anime or other artwork depicting them or the video games. Pokemon looks smooth. Like, if you touch a Pokemon, you wouldn't necessarily think it would feel any specific way, aside from, like, you know, maybe Wooloo or Mareep. They're pretty specifically fluffy, but you don't think that Lugia would feel any different. You wouldn't really think that, you know, those blue things on its back wave the way they do in the wind, which is an interesting detail. And if this is like a direction that is they're going to be going with the anime in terms of like focusing a little more on the legendary Pokemon, as we know, or not even just legendary Pokemon, but just kind of taking time to stop and appreciate individual Pokemon, I suppose, because that's some of the information that we've gotten about the anime, is that it's going to be taking place in different regions, or it's going to be featuring Pokemon from different regions. And if, you know, that's basically what it is that Ash and Go are basically doing research, and they end up starting to do like research for Professor Sakuragi. Point is, Lugia takes him for a ride around, and it looks really neat. Honestly, like, Lugia is a pretty chill Pokemon, and it definitely should be a water type. Eventually, Lugia drops off Ash and Go, and it is interesting that we get to see Ash and Go interact. Now, obviously, their first meeting is kind of a basic thing, and I had kind of feared that, like, their characters would be, not that they would be similar, but they're both shonen protagonists, basically. Go does seem to be a little different. His personality and attitude is obviously definitely different from Ash. Not necessarily that he's more serious, but Ash is definitely seems to be a little more playful than him. And later on in the episode, they do not necessarily butt heads, but like in a friendly way, not necessarily like a rival thing going on. They're a lot more friends. This is going to be the romance of the decade, these two guys. I think they work out pretty well together. And then again, having the Pokemon around them, some of the other characters, and potentially Koharu in the mix, it will help balance things out. Eventually, they do end up getting back to the lab, and then Yamper shows up. Yamper and Pikachu are great friends, being small, chubby, little electric-type Pokemon, so that's just really cute to see them interacting. They do show Professor Sakuragi some of the footage of Lugia from the back, especially like with the blue thing. What do we call those? The blue things waving on Lugia's back. And then after that, Professor Sakuragi offers them, lets them stay at his facility to assist him. And overall, it's a good first episode. It does end with Go being presented with 3 Pokemon, the starter Pokemon. And as we saw in the trailer from a few weeks ago, he wants Mew to be his partner. Real ambitious, but that's basically Go's what's the word? Goal, basically. We did see in the last episode that he saw a Mew when he was younger, and he was just kind of infatuated with it. There was also, the fact, like we mentioned, Mew did save a baby Pokemon when Go met Mew, or first saw Mew when he was a kid. So that kind of shows his infatuation with Mew, or at least how he likes it, and leads to him wanting to meet all of these new Pokemon, or interact with these cool new legendary Pokemon, and then just, meet them. Obviously, he's not gonna end up having Mew. Spoilers from basically all the promotional material. He's gonna end up with a Scorbunny somehow. How that happens, we'll have to wait until next episode to see that, because this episode just kind of ends with the basic, our heroes are, off on their journeys and this and that. But overall, it's a good, fine episode compared to last episode. And honestly, I did enjoy last episode. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. But in terms of, setting up the rest of the series, it wasn't necessary. It's kind of like an episode 0 in a way. Similar to, say, some other shows. Okay, just off the top of my head, Hero Academia, what they've done this season and last season. How there's kind of like a little episode to kind of reintroduce you to some things, to some characters, some ideas, and then the real plot starts the next episode, if at all. And this one, like I said, the last episode, episode 1 of Pocket Monsters 2019, I guess that's what we're calling it. It does serve as a good introduction to Go. As far as the Pichu stuff, that's cute, but it's not necessarily necessary. Even though it does kind of cross paths with Go and Mew. But this does a good job to kick off the series. We get a good taste of what things are going to be. And I feel maybe this, the sequence with Lugia was great. It was a little short, but I suppose it could have been longer, and especially, but for a first episode, it's fine, especially if we're going to be getting episodes later on where they're going to be interacting longer with certain Pokemon or legendary Pokemon or just other neat Pokemon. But overall, the premise, I think that's good. I think it's working out, as opposed to Ash going to X region and meeting these people and traveling and this and that. It kind of works better as an overall anime. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes to see new Pokemon. We did see a Corviknight in this episode, real briefly, being used by one of the trainer characters. And of course, Yamper being a Generation 8 Pokemon. But it's real interesting to see how much of Generation 8 is used in it. As I mentioned, it might be interesting to see some of the first arcs take place in Galar, or feature pretty heavily some Galar legendary Pokemon. Or not necessarily legendary Pokemon, but Galar regional Pokemon. But overall, good episode. I did enjoy it. If you happened to see the episode, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I do want to make an announcement, sort of, in terms of where to watch this episode. I'm going to go ahead and tell you where to watch these brand new episodes. What's real interesting is that the Pokemon Japanese YouTube channel is posting the episodes on the YouTube channel, after they air in Japan on television, obviously. In terms of wanting to know what's going on. There are no official subtitles on it, unfortunately, but potentially we could be getting. They don't add subtitles on their videos. But if you want to watch the video in nice, crisp quality, legally, it is being uploaded to the Japanese Pokemon YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure, so it's out there. But anyway, if you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all of that cool stuff. Let me know what you think of the episode if you happen to see it. How are you liking the Pokemon anime as it's going so far? all of that neat stuff. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. I think I mentioned that you can enable notifications by clicking the bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out, and will make you a member of the Chingling squad. I feel weird getting rid of that because Chingling's not in the Galar region, but this is the anime. Anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.